5.657 billion in Social Security is misappropriated, and 8.36 billion in pension funds go wrong. We just want to be part-time workers, so we don't want to buy any Social Security. I just want to work for a month or two, then take a rest. How can I buy Social Security, deducting $56 to $70 from my payment every month? I definitely don't want that, right? I just want to clear everything when I finish the job and leave, because I'm just a temporary worker. Get fully paid when I leave, right? I just browsed a blogger's video and my question is, why are you men still buying Social Security? When you are walking around, how many men over 70 can you see there? The people who square dance in the evening are all women in their 60s and 70s. Men retire after 65. How many men can live to 70 or above? The key point is that you need to live to 82 for your Social Security contributions to be fully paid off. Companies can go bankrupt or lay off employees at any time, and it's hard for college graduates to find jobs, and it's even harder after you turn 35. You can't even accumulate 20 years of Social Security contributions. If you don't pay for 20 years, you can only get back your personal portion, which is only 8% of your salary. Less than 1/3 of the total Social Security contributions. Most of the Social Security contributions the company pays go into the pooled account, so you can't get them back and your loss is huge. Attention all bosses and employees, starting September 1st, you'll have to pay Social Security, which means your income will be significantly reduced. It's better to set up a street vendor and avoid paying Social Security. Come on, look, there's a street vendor cart for sale. Don't miss it if you pass by. The Chinese Communist Party stipulates that starting September 1st, 2025, all large enterprises, small and micro restaurants, and individual businesses in China must pay Social Security contributions for their employees, including pension insurance, unemployment insurance, medical insurance, work-related injury insurance, and maternity insurance. Faced with the CCP's forced Social Security contributions, some companies have simply deducted the money from their employees' wages. Many people's salaries aren't high to begin with, earning $560 to $700 a month. After deducting $210 in Social Security, they're left with only around $400. And then there's the cleaners who make over $300 a month. If they deduct a month's Social Security minus a month's living expenses, they might actually be losing money to work. This wave of forced Social Security contributions has caused a wave of outcry among small and medium-sized enterprises. This is undoubtedly a heavy blow to small businesses struggling amidst the severe deterioration of the Chinese economy. Is it easy to make money these days? You're also forced to pay Social Security. It's a question of whether you'll live to see the day you can collect it. Meaningless. These days, bosses are only focused on increasing revenue and cutting costs. What's the point of hiring employees? It's better to do the job themselves. No need for those employees. They can go home, grow vegetables, farm, or haul manure. A blogger points out the plight of brick-and-mortar store owners. Business owners and brick-and-mortar store owners already have a tough time in recent years. They're barely making ends meet, or even breaking even, or even losing money trying to stay afloat. Then come the new Social Security regulations, which will make things even worse for all store owners. They're already working for their landlords and their employees. Now they're also forced to pay Social Security. Do you think they can still hold on? A clothing store owner said he expects many stores to close after September of this year. Because most clothing stores can't survive this wave of Social Security payments. Given that many owners are struggling to make ends meet and are on the brink of survival, forcing them to provide Social Security for their employees is a significant burden. It sounds like a small amount, $210 per employee, but in fact it may be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. A lady points out the irrationality of the CCP's actions. The state requires employees to pay for social insurance. Employees need high salaries to support their families. But look, who's out there on the street? Business is incredibly difficult. Can't there be some flexibility with social insurance? Those who need it can buy it, and those who don't can just take their wages, right? People just live a good life. With the social insurance policy now in place, it's hard for every store owner to hire. Business is struggling and employees can't find jobs. It's a complete mess. China's restaurant industry has been hardest hit by bankruptcies in recent years. The CCP's push for Social Security contributions is absolutely devastating news for restaurant owners. Starting September 1st, small restaurant owners like us are required to pay Social Security contributions for our employees. For example, a small shop like ours selling grilled cold noodles, pancakes, and Chinese hamburgers doesn't make much profit and can't afford to hire a few employees. Even if we do make a profit after paying Social Security contributions for our employees, there's not much left. If we say we won't pay Social Security contributions, our employees might sue us, and we won't be able to afford the compensation. My store is so small that only one manpower or two people can handle all the jobs. Even so, if I want to hire one worker, I have to pay for the Social Security contribution for him. I don't even pay for myself. Do you see the row of restaurants behind me? Every single one of them is in trouble again because the CCP is forcing these restaurants to pay Social Security contributions for their employees. Restaurants have been struggling since the start of this year. Starting in May, the harshest alcohol ban ever implemented halved their revenue. Then, with the street stalls by five-star hotels, these restaurants can't compete with them. Business has also dropped significantly. The man said that the ongoing food delivery war has significantly reduced business for those dine-in restaurants. Under these circumstances, requiring restaurant owners to pay Social Security contributions for their employees will cause them to consider closing. One restaurant owner said that September 1st of this year would be his 7th anniversary. However, he would be closing on that day. Social Security is calculated at $210 per month. How about I pay $70 per month and you guys pay $140 per month? Let's see if this arrangement works. Han, sir, are you willing to pay Social Security? Cash is better. Cash is better. Auntie, are you going to pay Social Security? You're not going to pay either? Gong Yin, are you going to pay? What about Leo, sir? No one wants to pay. If I had to pay $210 per person for Social Security, honestly, I can't afford it. This store hasn't even broken even in 7 years, so let's just close it after this month. A restaurant owner explains the current situation. It's over. The restaurant industry is in tatters. What's next for restaurant owners? I think a closed loop has been formed. Oh my goodness, China's Supreme Court has clearly stipulated that self-employed business owners must pay Social Security contributions to their employees. Even if employees waive contributions, that's illegal. I just want to ask everyone, do we need Social Security or does Social Security need us? I've lived 34 years without paying into it. For no other reason, whether I've worked or run a small business, the little savings I've saved over the years are barely enough to afford a simple meal. Who's going to help us pay for Social Security? Some predict that this Social Security crisis is expected to trigger a new wave of wage cuts, layoffs, and unemployment. A girl who has just started working shared her bitter experience. I just got off work and my boss told me that my Social Security was being deducted from my pay. My original salary is $348, but after deducting $251 in Social Security, I am left with $98. I work 22 days a month, which means my daily salary is only $98 divided by 22, averaging just over $4 a day. This new employee explained that she had to pay Social Security because if she wanted to obtain a lawyer's internship certificate, she had to have a record of paying Social Security. Without it, she couldn't become a lawyer's intern. It seems the CCP is truly exploiting the Chinese people to the utmost. And this isn't an isolated incident. A security guard at a property management company in Tianjin revealed that the company had reduced their salary from $488 to $279 to force them to pay Social Security. Some netizens also reported that their bosses had notified employees that they would pay Social Security contributions next month. but their salaries have been reduced from $418 to $210. The party forces small and medium-sized enterprises to pay Social Security, and the dire consequences soon became apparent. A popular online meme about Social Security is, I don't know if Social Security is good, but our company has gone bankrupt. Yesterday, I thought I was the only one being laid off, but it turns out my boss laid him off too. News of the bankruptcy of several small and medium-sized enterprises has been circulating on the Chinese internet. An electronics factory in Huizhou, Guangdong chose to close and deregister before August 31st. The reason is that starting September 1st, companies are required to pay Social Security contributions for their employees. The factory owner explained that profits were already low, and he was worried that after paying Social Security contributions, he would not be able to make ends meet, so he simply decided to close the factory. He plans to find another way out. This morning when I came to work, none of the management staff showed up. Only the HR manager sent a message in the group chat saying the factory was closed. The reason is that starting September 1st, everyone has to pay Social Security contributions. 98% of our factory workers are dispatched. Upon hearing this news, the workshop erupted in chaos. Veterans who have worked on the assembly line for years still clutching half-eaten steamed buns, their eyes suddenly became empty. The older workers' eyes were red on sight. Last night, I had a meeting with my employees about paying their Social Security contributions. All 10 employees disagreed. They said, "Boss, if you pay for us, we'll quit." This is simple. Why does everyone refuse it? Why are they unwilling to pay Social Security? It's simple. If you earn $697 a month and your company pays $21 a month for Social Security, your base salary would be adjusted to $557. Plus the deduction from your end, leaving you $140 less in salary. You would definitely be reluctant, saying, I need to rent, eat, take taxis, watch movies, and drink milk tea, and my original monthly salary is just enough for me. If the boss suddenly cuts $140 from my salary, I won't have enough. That's the reason. One ex-platform user wrote, private enterprises and small businesses in China are already trembling with fear and struggling for survival. Now, top CCP officials have suddenly decided to require the catering industry to pay Social Security contributions to all employees, or face heavy penalties. The CCP is shifting its own problems onto the public, forcing businesses that haven't yet collapsed to collapse. Employees are not allowed to use the Social Security contributions that have already been paid out. Meanwhile, the government and officials who are lavish, spend recklessly, and engage in rampant corruption are depleting next year's food in advance. The CCP wants to squeeze every penny out of the people. It's truly unprecedented. Some have keenly noticed that with the implementation of the new Social Security regulations, an unusual phenomenon has emerged. Some companies are hiring retirees. Recently, a job posting about Xiaoyang's dumpling went viral. The post states that the restaurant is hiring Shanghainese-speaking waiters with a combined salary of $446, meals provided, and a one-day-on, one-day-off work schedule. Requirements for applicants are Shanghai residents, fluency in Shanghainese, and age 50 or older. A netizen's scathing commentary hits home. With the new Social Security regulations, Xiaoyang Dumpling's strategy is truly remarkable. They only hire retired Shanghainese who are fluent in Shanghainese and over 50 years old. By not having to pay Social Security, they save a ton of money and gain a reputation for caring for the elderly. But what about those who haven't retired yet? Young people have a harder time finding jobs, companies save costs, but those who truly need Social Security remain without one. Mr. Wang, a resident of Shanghai's Jing'an district, told overseas Chinese media that 4 or 5 years after her retirement, she unexpectedly received an offer from a wonton shop offering a monthly salary of $418 with no Social Security contributions. I never imagined that people younger than me wouldn't be able to find jobs, while we older people would be the ones to take advantage. Industry observers note that similar trends are occurring in cities like Beijing and Hangzhou. According to mainland Chinese media outlet Dahe Daily, Universal Studios is openly hiring retirees at a wage of $4.20 an hour. Miss Wu, a retiree in Hangzhou, also confirmed that many local cafes have been laying off young employees and are now hiring retirees instead. Mr. Wu said, I heard some retirees are getting $585 a month. That's pretty good for them, but it's tough on the unemployed middle-aged people who have elderly parents and young children to support. Netizens expressed their opinions. Some sarcastically said, young people who are lying flat play the role as full-time children taking care of their parents at home, while retired parents go back to work. Retired elderly workers are paying for their children's Social Security. Others expressed concern, saying, employees over 35 who are laid off may be even more devastated. It's so sad our middle-aged people over 40 who haven't retired yet being abandoned. They're at an age with elderly parents and young children, and the pressure is the greatest. Retired people already have pensions and they have advantages in finding work. These people are completely eating up all the benefits. This video highlights the awkward situation between restaurant owners and employees. Boss, are you going to start paying Social Security in September? Sure, you can deduct it from your salary. Oh, then how am I supposed to survive? After deducting the Social Security, I won't have much money left. My salary isn't much to begin with. Shouldn't you be the one paying for the Social Security? Then how am I supposed to survive? I don't even pay for Social Security myself. Boss, why don't you look at other people? Are they willing to work at this salary? It's really hard to recruit people. With such a low salary, once you deduct Social Security, there's only about $400 or $500 left. Where can I find people? Hello? Dad, are you retiring this June? Why don't you come work in my shop when you have time? That way I won't have to pay your Social Security. The CCP's mandatory Social Security policy has had a severe impact on many small and medium-sized enterprises in China, and it's spread across the country. Many small and medium-sized business owners have been forced to deregister their businesses and close down to avoid risks. Some netizens revealed that hundreds of thousands of people have flooded the CCP State Council website to express their dissatisfaction. Small and medium-sized enterprises provide a large number of jobs for Chinese people. This wave of business closures will not only lead to rising unemployment but also further weaken domestic consumption. The ongoing wave of brick-and-mortar store closures has already demonstrated this. September 1st has not arrived yet. This is near the Central Hospital in Minhang District, Shanghai. I am walking over here today and I'm shocked to see that all the shops on the street are closed, because all of them failed to lease. I'm wondering if this is the state of the economy now. Or is it that the mandatory Social Security contributions on September 1st have made everyone feel like they've given up? Mr. Tsai Shen-kun, an independent commentator living in the US, said on the X platform, I started paying Social Security in 1990, making me one of the earliest insured people in China. From 1993 to 2000, I worked in a financial institution. I paid the maximum Social Security contributions and even stopped paying them in Beijing and Guangzhou. I retired at the beginning of last year with nearly 70,000 accumulated in my personal account. With the employer's contribution, the total should be close to 280,000. The contributions only bring my monthly pension to $836. Only by adding my previous 10 years of service in the government system did my pension increase to more than $1,400 per month. This shows how valuable a government job is. If you're lucky enough to live to 80, you can get back the principal you and your employer paid in advance. It's in fact like you and your employer depositing your money with the government, which then returns the principal monthly as a pension. Someone bluntly said, I pay $210 a month for your Social Security and you give my parents $14 a month? So why not just give the money directly to my parents? In mainland China, employee Social Security contributions are generally paid jointly by the employer and the individual. However, some employees or employers are unwilling to contribute, so they use a way by signing a voluntary Social Security waiver agreement, and the employer then distributes cash to the employee as a subsidy. However, after September 1st, 2025, these practices will be effectively prohibited. Shay Tian, a professor at the Aiken School of Business at the University of South Carolina, analyzed, these companies have been able to survive to this day because they had a common practice not to pay Social Security with their employees. Employees didn't expect Social Security, so they would rather receive more cash than pay. If this were mandatory now, it would be detrimental to companies already facing thin profits. It'll undoubtedly reduce employee incomes. For employees, it will effectively be forced to pay for Social Security, which they likely will never see or use in their lifetime. Many people now realize that the CCP's mandatory requirement for all industries to pay Social Security is due to a severe fiscal deficit, and the CCP wants ordinary people to fill the gap. A blogger pointed out that the CCP's attitude towards Social Security across the country.
406亿的社保被挪用。
$5.657 billion in Social Security funds are misappropriated, and $8.36 billion in pension funds are in trouble. The National Audit Office's 2024 work report shows that 13 provinces misappropriated $5.657 billion in pension funds to repay local debts, and nearly 30,000 employees illegally received pension funds through fraudulent means. In Pu County, Shanxi Province, a worker started working at age 1 and retired at 22, collecting a total of $96,147 in pensions. Another intermediary illegally processed pension insurance for 271 ineligible individuals, accruing $557,372 and causing a $13.934 million loss to the fund. This includes deceased individuals whose families are still fraudulently claiming pensions. He said many people are worried about when they retire, whether they can receive the Social Security benefits that they have painstakingly saved for. For years, the CCP has used flowery rhetoric to brainwash its citizens. For example, the CCP presents the mandatory Social Security system as a government initiative to protect the general public and ensure their retirement security, forcing employers who are the so-called wealthy capitalists to pay for their employees' Social Security. So the public should be grateful to the party for its consideration of vulnerable workers. Having experienced so much deception, the Chinese people have become recognizable by this rhetoric. They tell us to be grateful to society. To whom should we be grateful? What kind of gratitude do we owe? Our lives are given by our parents, our money is earned by working hard from dawn to dusk, our illnesses are treated by selling everything we have, and our houses are bought by all we can borrow together. Is it free education? Is it free healthcare? Or has the housing problem been solved? To whom should we be grateful? American commentator Tong Jing Yuan analyzed that the nature of the CCP's compulsory Social Security policy is essentially forced donations and harvesting leaks designed to squeeze the last bit of private savings out of the people to maintain the overall stability of the CCP economy. He emphasized that the CCP has never been good at creating wealth historically, and its economic methods have always been centered on plundering. From the early looting to the current legal force collection, the nature has never changed. CCP officials have even privately admitted, "We don't know if the Communist Party will still exist in a few years, so who cares whether you can receive from Social Security?" This blatant attitude reveals the CCP government's disregard for future Social Security payments. Tong also mentioned that the CCP has begun implementing guilt by association, where, for example, failure to pay Social Security contributions can prevent your children from attending school. This is similar to previous policies such as agricultural taxes, grain rations, and mandatory vaccines, highlighting the coercive and oppressive nature of CCP policies. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.